My parents laughed at my online business for years, until I made $1,200,000 and left their golden girl speechless at her own graduation party. My parents spent years treating my online business like a joke. Every family dinner seemed to include some comment about my little website. Every holiday gathering somehow turned into another reminder that I wasn't following a real career path. My younger sister Chloe was the golden child. She always had been. When she got accepted into a top university, my parents threw a huge party. When she made the dean's list, there was another celebration. When she landed a prestigious internship, relatives were called, photos were shared, and everyone talked about her future. Meanwhile, I was building an online business from my tiny apartment. I worked ridiculous hours. Most nights I was still at my computer long after midnight. I spent years learning marketing, product sourcing, customer service, and advertising through trial and error. To my parents, none of it mattered. My father spent decades working in banking. My mother worked as a school administrator. To them, success meant a degree, an office, and a paycheck from someone else. What exactly do you do all day? My father would ask. Work. On the computer? On? Yeah. He'd laugh every time. My mother wasn't much different. You're too smart to waste your life on internet nonsense. The worst part wasn't the criticism. It was the fact that nobody took me seriously. At family gatherings, relatives would ask how work was going. Before I could answer, my father would usually jump in. He's still trying to make money online. A few people would laugh politely. Even Chloe joined in sometimes. Maybe one day you'll get a real office. Everyone would chuckle. I'd smile and change the subject. Then I'd go home and keep working. Year after year, I kept building. I missed vacations. I skipped parties. I spent weekends working while everyone else relaxed. Slowly, things started improving. Then they improved faster. Then everything took off. My business grew far beyond anything I had expected. By the 6th year, I had earned more money than both of my parents combined. I never told them. I kept driving the same car. I lived in the same apartment. I wore the same clothes. Whenever someone asked how business was doing, I simply said, fine. Then Chloe graduated from college. She graduated near the top of her class and landed a consulting job before graduation. My parents were thrilled. They organized a huge graduation party. Nearly 60 people showed up. Relatives traveled from different states. There were decorations everywhere, a catered dinner, and a giant slideshow filled with pictures of Chloe growing up. The entire evening revolved around her accomplishments. Honestly, I was happy for her. She had worked hard. Later that night, my father stood up to give a speech. Everyone gathered around. He talked about hard work, education, and making smart choices. Then he pointed toward Chloe. This is what happens when you make good decisions. People nodded. Then he looked directly at me. And this is why we've always encouraged our children to pursue real careers. A few uncomfortable laughs followed. The room instantly became awkward. Even Chloe looked embarrassed. I felt every eye in the room shift toward me. My father smiled as if he'd made some harmless joke. For a moment, I considered ignoring it. Then I stood up. Actually, Dad, I have something I'd like to share too. The room went silent. My mother looked confused. My father still seemed confident. I pulled out my phone and connected it to the television that had been showing Chloe's graduation slideshow. The screen changed. A financial statement appeared. People leaned forward. My father's smile disappeared. Then my mother's. The document showed my business profits from the previous year. $1,200,000, not revenue. Profit. Nobody spoke. For several long seconds, the room was completely silent. Then my aunt broke the silence. Wait, that's yours? And yeah, suddenly, everyone started talking at once. Questions came from every direction. My cousins wanted details. My uncles wanted details. People who had barely spoken to me for years suddenly seemed fascinated by what I did. Across the room, my father stared at the screen. My mother looked completely stunned. Then Chloe started laughing. Not at me. At them. She looked directly at our parents. You spent years making fun of him. Neither of them said a word. She shook her head. You really thought he was failing. The silence that followed was worth more than the money. For the first time, nobody cared about my father's opinion. Nobody was listening to my mother's advice. The story they had been telling everyone about me for years fell apart in less than a minute. After that night, things changed fast. My father suddenly wanted to know how my business worked. My mother started asking questions about online sales. Relatives who hadn't contacted me in years began sending messages. I kept my distance. A few weeks later, my parents asked if I'd be interested in investing in a family business idea. I politely declined. Then my father suggested partnering on a project. I declined that too. I never argued. I never demanded an apology. I didn't need one. The graduation party had already provided all the closure I wanted.